when I walked up the ground.
Oh, cuddles. She's so proud of her running. The peace sign, and then I thought that would be super disrespectful.
Valley Heritage Society Committee, I would like to welcome you all to the Middle Valley Anzac Day 2025. We acknowledge the traditional owners and recognise their continuing connection to the land, waters and culture. We pay respect to the elders, past, present and emerging. If you would all like to take your seats, I would like to ask Joe Brooks to come forward to read the poem.
As we commemorate this Anzac Day, we shall remember them this way. Forever asleep, young and brave, heroes now resting in foreign graves. We thank them for our freedom today, forever asleep, always young and brave.
Thank you, Joe. I would now like to invite Major Penelope Nielsen to give the commemorative address.
Good morning, serving members, veterans, ladies and gentlemen. Today marks the 110th anniversary of Anzac Day, a day that has held profound significance in the hearts of all Australians over the country for the last century. It is a day of remembrance, reflection and gratitude, a day when we come together to honour the bravery, sacrifice and unwavering spirit of those who have served our nation during times of war and peace. On this day, we remember the Anzacs, the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, who landed on the shores of Gallipoli in 1915. The 25th of April marks the day when these courageous men, in the face of overwhelming odds, exemplified the spirit of our nation. They showed courage, resilience and mateship amidst the chaos of battle, and despite the hardships they faced, their actions on that day left a permanent mark on our nation's history. As we commemorate this momentous occasion, it is important to reflect not only on the soldiers of the Gallipoli campaign, but also on the thousands of young men who fought in numerous other battles and campaigns over the 4 years of the First World War. Joseph Lindley Scales was one of these men. Born in Mitamita in 1895, he joined the Australian Imperial Force on the 1st of February 1915 at the age of 19. A keen athlete who played for the Mitamita Football Club, he took naturally to service life. Completing his initial training in Seymour, he joined the 24th Infantry Battalion and departed Australia for Gallipoli in July of the same year. His strong leadership, courage and character saw him promote to corporal by July of 1916 and sergeant 6 months later. By March of 1917, after spending the winter and Christmas fighting to capture Pozières in France, the next objective was in sight. The town of Bapaume was seen as the main objective for the Allied forces in the Battle of the Somme, and it was here on the 15th of March where Sergeant Scales led a small patrol in broad daylight right up to enemy lines to gather urgently needed information for a planned attack on the enemy just hours later. An act that would lead to the successful mission of occupying the town of Bapaume and Sergeant Scales being awarded the Military Medal for gallantry in action. After his actions in the previous 2 battles, and just 2 months after promoting to sergeant, Joseph was commissioned to second lieutenant, with his first mission as an officer being the Second Battle of Belcourt, a battle that would see over 7,000 casualties, of which Second Lieutenant Scales, with a gunshot wound to the buttocks, would be one. After 3 months of recuperation, he returned to the front and would go on to receive honours for his leadership in the Battle of Menonville and a Distinguished Service Order for his devotion to service and duty. His commanding officer wrote, "Awarded for conspicuous gallantry and devotion to duty in capturing a strong point 150 yards in front of our line. Lieutenant Scales did this single-handed. By the effective use of his rifle, he killed 4 of the enemy in the post and 2 more as they tried to escape. He rushed the post from a distance of 50 yards and captured the machine gun. His devotion and courage inspired his men to further efforts." Lieutenant Scales continued in the battle for a further 2 years until the end of World War I, when upon returning to Australia in October 1919, he discharged from the Army. Years of war had not diminished his love of football, and Joseph went on to play AFL for both Fitzroy and St Kilda in the Victorian Football League. By 1925, he had focused his fitness skills on being a physical instructor in schools around Melbourne. For over 4 years, Joseph served with honour and courage in support of the First World War. And when a short 20 years later, Australia found itself at war again, Joseph answered the call of duty and re-enlisted in March of 1940. He would serve a further 7 years during World War II, being discharged as a captain in 1947. After spending over a decade of his life in war, Joseph went on to live the rest of his life in relative peace. He died in 1967 at the age of 73 and is buried in Cheltenham Memorial Cemetery. Founded in the Mitter Valley and shaped on the battlefield, Captain Joseph Lindley Scales was the epitome of the Anzac spirit. It is this spirit that we honour and remember today on the 110th anniversary of the Anzac Day, lest we forget.
Thank you, Major Nelson. I would now like to call on those wishing to lay wreaths to come forward, please. So, the Department of Defence. Powell Shire Council. Eskdale Primary School. Midda Primary School.
That's all we've got. There's no more.
Midda Valley Heritage Society.
That's all we've got. That's it.
CFA. Midda United Football Club. If there are any other organisations or members of the public who would like to lay wreaths, come forward now. Could I ask you all to please stand, and I'll ask John Scales to come forward to read the oath, and could you remain standing afterwards? Thank you.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. But the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them, lest we forget.
I would now like to ask the school children to come forward to sing the national anthem.
No, the words. Yeah.
everyone would like to take their seats.
Good girl. That was well done.
Well done, Hubs.
On behalf of the committee, I would like to thank Major Penelope Nielsen and Warrant Officer Ashley Nelson for again being with us today. I would also like to thank Aidan for doing the bagpipes for us. Thank you to all the families for sponsoring the banners. Please come and see us if you're interested in sponsoring a loved one on their banner. Also, we will be holding another high tea in October, so please mark this on your calendar. A big thank you to all of you who were able to volunteer your time and help with the preparations today. And lastly, I'd like to thank you all very much for attending today and invite you to stay for some light refreshments and make sure you have a wander through the banners. If possible, if you're able to give us a gold coin donation, it would be greatly appreciated. It helps with the refreshments. Thanks again.
Oh.